Now, government is the prime example of Ronald Reagan's aphorism that when government's the problem, more government's not the answer. Now, I've had a chance to see your world. I'm going to show you a little of my world in today's governmental structure. The argument that the big government guys always have for why we need government medicine is we need to increase access to health care, we need to increase quality, and I can barely say this one with a straight face, we need to decrease costs. Now, you guys are business people. When has the government ever come into your business and make you more cost effective? When's it ever decreased your costs? Well, trust me, if it doesn't do it for you, it doesn't do it for me either. Now, I'm going to show you how actually the government does the opposite of this in every sense. And I'm picking one example that's happening today just because it's current and it's egregious. But I could have picked a lot of examples, and I deal with this 100 times a day, just not once. This is not just one little story. The story, though, is about Doppler ultrasound, and this does apply to the guys specifically who do total joints, because a risk of getting a total joint or having major surgery, laying around the hospital, is that you can get a deep venous thrombosis, DVT, or blood clot in your leg. And this can kill you rather quickly if it's not treated, so we need to make the diagnosis and get this thing treated right away. Now, prior to last year, here's the way it would work. We'd wheel you down the hall, we'd do the test, which took 5 or 10 minutes, we'd bill Medicare $235, and within an hour, I would have the result from a board-certified radiologist telling me whether or not you had a blood clot or not. Not so fast. Enter an unelected government bureaucrat who says, well, you ultrasound techs that have been doing this for 20 years, we don't trust you anymore. You have to have special certification in Doppler ultrasound. Now, what this means, it turns out that their definition of certification is they have to go back in 2 years of schooling to get this certification. So essentially, hospitals have to hire new ultrasound techs. This doesn't affect the big university or big hospitals that are always hiring people, but all these little hospitals across the United States of America now are dead in the water for doing this test. So here's what it means to us. Because I moved from a trauma center into this smaller hospital now that I'm semi-retired. What it means is that we have to call around for about an hour to find somebody to do the test. Then we have to bundle you into an ambulance and drive you to hell and back, usually about an hour away, to go to somebody else's radiology suite, where you might lay around for a couple hours. Now, keep in mind, if you're sick, we hope we don't kill you, because there's no doctor or nurse going with you. And if you're sick, there's one worse place to be than in the orthopedic clinic. It's found in radiology. That's the joke between us. Then we're going to bundle you back in the ambulance and bring you back. Last time this happened, it took us 8 hours to get the result. Now, what has this done to quality? It has shot quality all out the window. I mean, we're going to kill somebody. If somebody hasn't died already in this little hoop and holler drive around, it's going to happen. And in fact, this is so egregious. I know hospitals, they're practicing civil disobedience rather than doing this. They're pretending they don't know the orthopedic or the Medicare regulation. Now, you might say, well, why not just do that and don't bill Medicare? Just take it as an industry loss leader, just do it for free. Not so fast. See, Medicare isn't just about payment these days. It's about regulation and whether or not your hospital can stay open. And if you willfully neglect one of these edicts by Medicare, they can shut you down. So that takes some conscience and some risk to do that. Well, but clearly this has damaged quality. So what's it done for cost? Now, it used to cost, remember, $235 to Medicare. Well, I checked with my ambulance chief before I came here. Now we've added a $3,000 to $4,000 ambulance ride to a $235 test. So what is that? We multiplied the cost of this test by 15 times. This is your tax dollars. You should be offended by that. I'm offended by that. But here's the biggie. This is what to pay attention to. What has it done to access to health care? Well, clearly it has decreased access to health care for our Medicare patients. Well, how about you, though? You probably have private insurance. You may pay $500, $600, $700 a month for your family's insurance. You've paid for, presumably, this kind of test. Or let's say Bill Gates happens to be wandering through the wilds of Iowa and stumbles into my emergency room. And he says, don't ship me to this other hospital. I'll just pay you cash for the test, and I'll give you $1 million more just for the privilege of staying here. I'll donate to your emergency room. And we have to say, sorry, Bill, we can't take cash. We can't take insurance. We can't even do this test on the uninsured that the government purports to care about. Because when we called H&HS, they said that would be discriminatory against Medicare patients. So you see what government medicine does, and I'm telling you, this is day in, day out in all sorts of ways.